This is Micah from Capture King Gaming here with a playthrough for Hades, its 10th and final run. Hades is a roguelike game from Supergiant Games. The developers previously worked on Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre, all of which receive glowing reviews, and this game is considered by many, myself included, to be their best effort yet. So being that it's a roguelike game, it means you are expected to die. It's part of the mechanics, and as you die, you are able to carry over a few permanent upgrades, but you mostly lose a lot of what you used on each attempt to beat the game in its chambers. You are afforded some temporary bonuses for each run that you lose when you die, but some permanent ones stay on, and the story progresses with each successive attempt, whether it ends in success or failure. The game is delivered in an isometric view, meaning that the camera angle is a bit askew, so it's not exactly top-down, it's not a side-scroller either. They did that with their previous games, so it's something they're well-versed in. As for the story, being that this is the 10th escape attempt, well, not the 10th escape attempt, but the 10th escape itself, this is my 61st attempt. The story is very simple. You play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, who found out that the mother who raised him is not his birth mother, so he attempts to escape his father's domain in order to find his real mother, and he is aided by some of the Olympian gods that you might be familiar with, and also hampered by his father and others that work in his father's home who are trying to keep him from reaching the surface. So in your first attempt, you finally get through, you beat your father at the end, and you talk to your mother for a while, but you find out that you cannot stay in the mortal realm for too long before you die and return to the House of Hades. So 9 attempts later, I've gotten a little more of the story, which is that his mother was taken basically to Hades, the realm, and eventually fell in love with Hades, the god, had Zagreus, believed Zagreus was stillborn, and left the domain, only for Zagreus to be resurrected by Nyx, who is the personification of night, and that's the mother he was raised by. So you talked to your mother a few times, you found out that it might be actually dangerous for her to return, or for any of the Olympians to know where she is, but you are insistent that, you want to be with her, you want to connect with her. So this final attempt, you're trying to see exactly what's going on and get the answers you've been looking for. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to try to explain a little more of the game mechanics as I go on and encounter certain pieces, and I give you context as to the story bits and beats that you hear as I go. Lastly, I want to note that I'm sorry there was an audio problem. You're going to hear a crackling, especially when there's dialogue. I was trying to fix it, but being that it's hard to get back to this point in the game, I would literally have to play dozens of hours in a different save file just to get back to this point. I decided to release this. If the audio problem is too much for you to watch it, I completely understand. Either way, I hope you enjoy. Let's jump in. Okay, so every time you die in this game, this is where you end back up, in the House of Hades. And depending on what you've done in the game in terms of your progress and how you just previously died, some people might have exclamation marks over their head for you to talk to, and they'll give you some new dialogue. Or you might get some repeated dialogue with people that don't have them. So,
whoa, I guess you must have died out there again, huh?
Yeah, like a generic. But that's not to say that this game doesn't have a lot of contextual dialogue. I mean, the amount of hours they must have recorded is incredible. So also in the House of Hades, there is the records room. So here you can find all your previous escape attempts. So like I said, I've I've been terrible this game. So I've tried to escape 60 times and been successful 9 times.
I'm good on numbers for now.
But a cool thing is it also shows you like what you had equipped at any given escape attempt, all of that stuff, going all the way back. And then this is a record of what weapons, boons, and upgrades you had, and keepsakes that you had successful attempts with. Nothing else here as far as I know. Maybe after your 10th escape, it updates. For now, I'm not sure. So then we have, look, is there Exclamation point. Let's talk to
Well, look at you,
Achilles.
that codex brimming with our history. I knew I could rely on you to fill it out. Back when I was alive, why, no one would have ever believed what goes on down here.
Mortals must have had their stories, though, about what happens to them once they die and once they end up in this place.
They have their stories, definitely so. They fear your father, understandably. They also fear your dog. But most of them know precious little else. Even their fears, I think, are born of ignorance, as most fears tend to be.
So that's Achilles, or Achilles, as my Greek Civ professor in college called him. Achilles. You can pet Cerberus.
Favorite boy doing, huh?
And talk to him, but really he just...
The hound of hell rests peacefully upon his favored spot.
That's it. The narrator just says something about the dog. The family dog. He's your father, Hades.
What is it now? I see that sneering look upon your countenance, which must mean you have yet another one of your insipid questions, haven't you?
Oh, this one's not insipid in the slightest. Let me get this straight. My mother's Persephone, her mother's Demeter, but her father evidently was some farm boy. My red blood comes from him, and my propensity to die, I guess.
You blame your ancestors for your own weakness. You should be thankful you were born with immortality. Though your meddlesome curiosity and constant need for affirmation must certainly be from your mortal side.
Then Mother, did she grow older with age? Is she just going to expire as the mortals do? With demigods, I hear it can go either way.
I said never to speak of her, blast you. You said yourself she is the daughter of the goddess of seasons. Use your fool head for once.
I'll have to try that, thanks.
As the house contractor, we're using certain resources you can add to either the House of Hades or along the route of your escape attempts. So things I've already done here, you might see as I go through the attempt. Some are just, as far as the ones within the house, they're mostly just cosmetic, and the ones in the route obviously are more about gameplay and helping you out. So as we'll go, you'll see I'll point out which are the ones that I believe are from the House of Contractor renovations, and then these are all ones that can be bought with gems, and they're almost all just decorative.
Nice speaking with you,
Orpheus.
Zagreus.
I don't like talking to him. Did I see it? Okay. This is Nyx, your stepmom, I guess you could say.
Nyx, all you've done to help me with the Olympians, the mirror, the house contractor, I worry that if Father were to know that he would turn his wrath upon you. I don't want anything to happen.
You need not fear for me, my child. For I am not some underling your father has authority to punish if it pleases him. I am the knight.
I love Nyx.
And it is by my grace that this house stands. Your father knows this. Thus, he and I have certain common goals. We are obligated to cooperate.
Obligated to cooperate. No wonder I thought you two truly were husband and wife.
Your father and I sometimes convince ourselves.
So yeah, Nyx, you thought were your mother until recently you found out she wasn't, and that is what compelled you to go. Oh look, I can get Titan blood. Before I even explain this, yeah. So Nyx is your mother. You thought until recently when you found out that she's not your mother, and this started your whole trying to escape from Hades to find your real mother, and you've learned throughout successive and failed attempts more backstory about what's happened. So I'll explain it as we're going, as it's brought up. But yes, you found out that your mother is named Persephone. She was an Olympian. that by some other way was taken to Hades. You believe she was kidnapped or she absconded, not sure, but she ended up with Hades. They had a child. She believed the child had died, which she technically did, and for that reason and others, she left Hades, the realm, and the person, and then you were brought back to life by Nyx after your mother had already left, and so your mother did not know you survived, and you didn't know about your mother. So yeah, it's the most basic way to tell the story. So this is the lounge area. So you have this broker where you can turn in some resources for other ones, exchange them depending on whichever one you need at the time. And always at the bottom, limited time offer, a very good deal. So I have these keys that earlier in the game they come in handy, but once you get to a certain point, you really don't need them anymore. So I'll turn them in for Titan Blood, which I can use to upgrade my weapons.
I'll buy the Titan blood.
This little tank, you can just see how many fish you caught. It's really
Hello,
good.
fishies.
This fire pit and this fireplace are two examples of what I bought to just update the place. Oh, this too, actually. Yeah. And the chef,
Here's the catch of the day.
you can catch fish while you're out on your escape attempt and turn them in to the chef for resources. I don't know if it's randomized or if it depends on which fish you've caught and how many. Well, definitely how many, but I'm not sure if the type of fish changes what you get. This right here just tells you how many enemies you've killed and try to escape. Most of the stuff in here you'll see I bought just to make it look better, I guess. So this is a list of prophecies.
That's one more prophecy fulfilled.
Oh, did I? Oh, awesome. Okay. So this prophecy basically is trying to get you to play out different scenarios in the game. So for example, there are these keepsakes that people give you once you award them with a nectar, which is a certain resource, and these keepsakes have a passive buff, I guess you can call them. So in this one, all you had to do was equip each one time, and I'm now given ambrosia, which I still don't have a use for, but I assume I will in the future. These are other prophecies. They all have different requirements and the rewards. Some give ambrosia, some give gems, some give Titan blood, some give darkness. It just depends. So the game keeps a running total of them. You don't have to, for most of them, you don't have to have had a successful escape attempt for it to log. Most of them are just like, oh, do this thing one time and it goes towards it. Others, it says specifically you have to escape with this, and it tells you when that's the case. So this mirror is what he was talking about with Nyx. This is the mirror of night. So initially, I believe only like 2 or 4 of the rows are revealed, and by using those keys, you can unlock more rows. Now I have the max allowed, and so what this is, these are all permanent upgrades that you can buy with the purple resource called Darkness, and for the most part, I maxed out almost everything. I mean, I've failed so many times that it only makes sense to have. And then every upgrade has 2 aspects, I guess if you want to call it, that you choose which one you want for that run. So if you see one on the green side and a red side, and it's basically each line is about a certain aspect of gameplay, but different versions of them. So just for instance, let me see what's the best one. Okay, this one is a good one to explain. Okay, so this one, Death Defiance. So for the entire run, the entire escape attempt, I can die 3 additional times before fully losing, and it's just 3 times. But it doesn't matter if it's in the same dungeon or what. Just 3 total times. Now there are places I can go in the chambers where I can restore those uses, but those are randomized. And then there's Stubborn Defiance. Oh, sorry, and it only gives you 50% of your health though, so that's good. Whereas Stubborn Defiance, you can die once per chamber. So there are dozens of chambers, but you can die once in every chamber and still keep going. But it only gives you 30% of your life. But once again, there are upgrades throughout the chamber you might encounter that might boost that number. Like, oh, okay, instead of getting 30, now you get 50%, blah, and so on forth, and so on. So it's a choice of which one you want. Do you want to be able to die unlimited times in terms of once per chamber, or 3 times to make a real go. So I've figured out that for me it's better to have 3, because for the most part I can make it until maybe the final boss or second to last boss without ever dying. So if I have those 3 chalked up, I can die 3 times in that one boss battle and still be good. And there are other ones. So at this point I'm just trying to buy all of them, even though I only have the ones shown activated. This combination seems to work for me finally. And yeah, there we go. So we go out here. Just look out.
Riches of the damned beware. I'm coming back.
Picturesque. Alright, well. So these are the keepsakes. So I've gotten one from almost every character I can. I don't know who. I'm assuming that's from either my mother or from Hades. I'm not sure. I still haven't achieved it. Each keepsake has 3 levels as far as I know. You just rank them up by completing encounters while having them equipped. Once you pick a keepsake, you cannot change it until you get to the next region. So you have to make choice of which one you want. So I've just been going in a row of which one I'm going to use. Right now I have Cosmic Egg, which allows me to enter these gates. I'll show you if they pop up. I'll explain to you then. But some of them, for the most part, the ones from the gods give you a higher chance to have a rare boon from them, whereas other ones are more helpful, I think, such as to deal 40% damage while you're at 35. Oh no, I don't want that. 35% or less, or automatically restore up to 100 life when your life total is depleted. So all that stuff. They're all good. So these are the weapons themselves. There's 6 of them. When you first start, there's only a few, but now I've unlocked all 6, and then they themselves have different forms. So for instance, I'm gonna use a spear, which I don't think I've cleared yet. I don't know. Let's see.
Right? Take my spear.
So once you pick up, I picked that one because it has that purple glowing. It's called the Thirst. So that means every time you pick up darkness, you'll get plus 20%. I also have an ability or upgrade where it also gives me plus 20% gems. And when you pick it up, it just reminds you, you can open it up to see, different forms of it. I'm like, okay, boom. That's all good. Yay, all right. So it just reminds you how to use that specific weapon. So attack.
Yeah, nice.
So with that attack, this form, enemies take more damage for a certain amount of time. I think take more damage from everything, or is it? Yeah, more damage from your attack and special. So, right, and then I can also throw it, bring it back, and dash and strike at the same time. And so I'm gonna go out. His name is Skelly. He's a trained dummy. You just beat up. I can just right.
Nope, couldn't feel a thing.
He's like from Brooklyn for some reason. And after a few seconds, he will just reappear. Like magic.
So alive.
Okay, so with this weapon, I have beaten it. So this is called the Pact of Punishment. Once you've done one successful escape attempt, this pops up. So what this is, after you beat the entire game, well, a run with a specific weapon, you can no longer get the same bonuses from beating bosses. So the way you can get the bonuses again is by increasing your heat level, which makes the game a little bit harder. You choose what you want. So for instance, hard labor, all fours deal bonus damage. Any health effects restore less amount of life than usual. All prices are higher. I'll do that one. And there are others, but all foes have higher totals. I don't want that. New techniques? No, I don't want that either. Heightened security. 400% damage to Yeah, so I'll use that for now. Okay. So as you can see, once I upped my heat gauge to 1, now those bonuses are now question marks again. I mean, they're the same things, but it's just saying you haven't earned them yet. So let's go.
What could go wrong?
Okay. I guess I cleared once with this weapon. I don't remember that.